Alright, today we're going to be knocking out an oil change here on a 2017 Ram Rebel. Thought I'd just fire up the camera and kind of show you guys how I like to do it. So first things first, you're going to need 7 quarts of this 5W20 oil. This is pretty important. These Hemis have MDS, that multi-displacement system, and they really require this light viscosity oil. Next thing, you're going to need a good high quality oil filter. That's kind of all personal preference on what you guys like to buy and use. I'm used to doing diesel oil changes on multiple vehicles before I bought this one, so going with this high-end Royal Purple is not too difficult for me. Next thing too, you're going to need a 1/2 inch ratchet or wrench for the oil plug, and then I always like to use a couple of nitrile gloves just to keep the hands clean. Also, before you get started, what I like to do is come up front here, and it's already been done, but like to get the oil cap off and have that open, so that way when the oil is draining, it's going to drain smooth, clear, quick and fast, which is always nice. One other thing that I forgot to have on standby over there is a good oil catch bucket. Obviously you don't want to make a mess. All right, once you're underneath the vehicle, I'll make sure that your oil catch can is going to be in the right spot and that your vent is open. You probably want to put your gloves on if you grab them. It'd be pretty stupid to hold them in one hand and then use your other hand to get all gross like I just did. So you get those put on, and we got our cap up top off, ready for draining. Ratchet set to the right deal. Now I like to use the extension on here just because it keeps me away from the oil, and then also I can pop it off the ratchet here and get this going. Now we do have a little breeze. I'm going to adjust that again. And hopefully this doesn't go everywhere. All right, catch can was in the right spot. We didn't make too much of a mess. And we're gonna hang out and just let that thing do what it does. And after a few minutes, I think this has been about 3 to maybe 5, you'll get down to kind of this state here, which, I mean, it's pretty much done draining. So go ahead and get your bolt here. I like to wipe everything down. Well, maybe it's not done. Now, some people do like to run their vehicle a little bit before they do an oil change. It gets a little warmer, more viscous, meaning more liquidy, so it'll actually drain better, faster. I don't think it makes much of a difference personally. Now with these bolts and caps, I guess you could call them, I always go hand tight and then just a pinch more. The last thing you want is a stripped out oil pan drain bolt. That's just not a good day for anybody. So I got it finger tight, just a little bit more, and we're gonna go for maybe like a 1/4 turn there. All right, and that should be more than enough. All right, now this next part, getting the oil filter off is gonna be kind of difficult. Now, I don't know if you can see it down there, but it's the orange Fram filter, and it's right over the axle. So a lot of folks online talk about getting some aluminum foil and actually covering up. Ow, that hurt. All right, there you can see it right over the axle. What a bunch of jerks. But yes, like I was saying, so a lot of folks online talk about hanging a trash bag over your axle. They also talk about using aluminum foil. I don't really like that idea, because at some point now you got to wash a trash bag or wash some foil off, and you're throwing away hazmat. So I just kind of make the mess, and then deal with it as best I can. Simple grain, biodegradable soaps, things like that can break down that oil and make it less harmful. I try to not over tighten these things so you don't have to use tools later, and then you're not ruining anything. And I have found the best way to get these out, if I remember correctly, is out the front. Yep, here comes the mess. And you just kind of take it slow. Try to contain it as best as possible. At least we're catching the oil. And then, like I said, I'll come back through here with some simple grain and clean it all up, because nobody likes having a dirty newer vehicle. Alright, keep it coming. Yeah, they put this thing in here in a terrible, terrible spot. A lot of folks online will actually run a filter relocation kit. It's definitely something I've been considering. This is my forever vehicle. Bought this a few years back, and you know, financially it just makes more sense to keep it forever. All right, the filter is out, so we're gonna kind of let this thing drain, do what it does, and next we'll fill up our new filter and get that ready for installation. All right, so next step, I've gone through more gloves today trying to show y'all how to do this than I ever have, but you know, why make a mess on your expensive little camera? All right, so our next step in doing this, oh, it's gonna get loud. Price of doing a live show, huh? All right, so this next step's pretty important. The measurement that you get for the 7 quarts that goes back into your Hemi includes your oil filter. So carefully, you want to fill this thing up slow and steady, and then also you kind of want to roll the oil around on the inside. I don't know how well you can see the inside of there, but as you fill it up, the element inside of here that is actually doing the filtration will soak up a lot of that oil. And so you want to do this slow, controlled, and take your time with it, because this is the key to not having a lapse in lubrication when you start up. It'll prevent, you know, I mean, it's going to naturally filter out the air in the system, but you know, this is much safer, much better for your engine, as opposed to just slapping it back on there, starting the engine up. That's definitely not the right thing to do. So keep kind of rolling that bad boy around. Try to get rid of some of this stuff on the top. That's the return side. Alright, so I don't know if you can see how far back down that oil has gone. Fill it back up to the top, right? So you can see that it's up at the top. And I mean, it's literally second by second. Going down, filling up that element, doing what it's supposed to do. So you'll keep repeating that for a while. And I'm just gonna keep going. But I'll give y'all a break. All right. So, we got our filter all filled up with oil. Trying to get situated here. And now this is a delicate part too. Trying to keep as much of that good oil in there as possible and navigate it up there. I'm gonna try a different way. I realize on camera is probably not the best time to try new things. I'm supposed to be an expert here. And oh, look at that, much better. So if you actually bring it in over this front cross member, it just gets right up in there. Now I like to kind of hold this one hand flat here. I think you can see that. And that gives you that vertical pressure. And now, if you're having trouble getting it on, go backwards first. And you'll hear it kind of pop. Or kind of a clicking. And that'll be those threads lining back up. You do not want to cross thread this. It's very easy to over torque and cross thread these soft metal filters here. So now once you get that on there kind of hand tight, you want to go about a 1/2 to a 3/4 turn on there. Oh, and I'm sorry, one thing I forgot to say, and I did this after I shut the camera off when we filled it up. So I'm going to take this off and show you. What you want to do is, as you've got that oil in there, I cannot believe I forgot to do this on the other end. Alright, bring this back down. So, we're not at a good angle. Alright, fine. I'll just explain it. So, you're going to dip your finger in that fresh new oil and you want to run it over your rubber O-ring. What that does is it lubricates it and gives it just that much of a better seal. And ensures that, you know, it's not dry, it's not gonna crack on you later, because, you know, as it seals, nothing's gonna be able to get to the outside of it. And keep it lubricated. So you coat it on there pretty good. There we go. Now I'm going to drag this out, this oil basin, spray everything down with some Simple Green, and then probably get another bottle of water just to rinse it off. But so that's your oil filter, and when you're down here you want to make sure, you know, all right, oil filter's on, your drain plug's back in, because our next step after cleaning up is going to be to add that oil. And believe me, I've done it before. I'm not the only one who's put oil back in an engine with the drain plug out. It's embarrassing, it's a waste of money, and it's a waste of your time, so don't do that. All right, we'll be right back. All right, so once you know that your filter is back on, your drain plug is back on, you're ready to add some oil. Now once I'm done filling this bad boy up, I actually like to give it a second before I check the level. Reason being, on most engines, your oil fill port is at the top of the engine, right? It's got to use gravity to get all the way down the bottom, which is where your dipstick is hanging out, trying to get an accurate level. So a lot of times, if you just fill this bad boy up and then go to check the oil, it's gonna look a little low. You know, the oil's still on its way down there. It's still working its way down to the oil pan. So, you know, I kind of use a lot of this time to clean up, pick some stuff up, get stuff ready to go back into the garage, and then I'll come out and check that. All right, so got pretty much everything cleaned up out there. Should have given this this oil plenty of time to make it down to the bottom. So remember, you always want to wipe this thing off before you check the fluid level, because there's going to be residual on there from when we drained it from the old oil. All right, so push it down all the way in. You know, got to be accurate, right? Yeah, I'll pull it back out, and look at that. Perfect. Right on the safe level. And folks, it's just that simple. And hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I did. Subscribe to my channel. It's got a little bit of everything, and pretty soon my girlfriend and I are going to be starting our joint channel. Of course, we don't have a name for it yet, but I'll probably put a link on my channel and get you over there. So my page is going to be kind of stuff like this, random crap that I do in my free time. And then our joint channel, we're going to be doing a lot of keto comparisons, funny little keto challenges. We got a bunch of great stuff planned for you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys respond well. If not, it might just be me and her doing goofy stuff for no reason. So until next time, I'll see you later.